Ty Gibbs, Sammy Smith making up row one as we get ready for the championship race. It's underway here in Phoenix. Immediately they dive onto the apron. 4, 5, 6 wide. And falling back, the 9 of Noah Gregson. Can he keep the momentum up on the outside?
Noah made an aggressive move to try that outside lane. Underneath them is that 19 of Brandon Jones. We know those guys had a problem last week and said, Brandon Jones, he wants to get in front of that pack. Get back to Ty Gibbs. I know it's early in the race, but he sees Ty up front and he wants to go win this race.
Yeah, he knows what he's shooting for. He wants to get up in front of the 54. That's the 19 of Brandon Jones. They stay too wide behind him. And again, this first stage, 45 laps. It doesn't matter points anymore for the championship 4. Doesn't matter for stage points. All that they're worried about is finishing in front of the other 3 championship 4 contenders.
On board with Justin Allgaier and this Goodyear onboard camera. I think this is the biggest challenge. There's an advantage for Junior Motorsports to have 3 cars in the field, but this is the challenge. Allgaier is going to race the 8 very difficultly, as you see the 8 kind of move around the back, but he has to be patient. You know, he can kind of move or be aggressive with everyone else on the field, but his own teammates, I think he has to use a little caution early.
Look how loose that 8 car is. Josh Berry really chasing that car into the corner. Allgaier taking advantage of it. Josh is just way too loose right now.
Big shortcut there by taking the apron, and he's able to clear the 8. So Allgaier up a position, but he has to check up just in front of him. A very difficult situation for Allgaier. He had to check up for the 11 of Daniel Hemrick.
I'm not sure if there wasn't contact between the 7 and the 11 as they entered turn 1. It was hard to tell on the onboard with the 8, but looking kind of through the 7, it was very close to the 11. Then the 11 got sideways. That's what jacked the 7 up. Let's take a look at it, Jeff.
Yeah, here you see the 11 car actually gets into the back of the 2, and then the 7 can't slow down enough and gets into the back of Hemrick. So just a little bit of a stack up right there.
Yeah, Hemrick was sideways to save it.
That's what you talked about, Steve. These guys that didn't qualify in the front, navigating their way through all of that mess. It's a long way to go in this race. You just don't want to have a problem early.
And as we watch these 2 Junior Motorsports cars, the 3rd of that's in the championship hunt, the 9 of Noah Gregson, past the 48 for 3rd, so slowly working his way back up. He's already to the back bumper of the 18 of Sammy Smith. Look at the 9 car and corner entry. Good pace, good stability. I know you love to see that left front tire get to the yellow line, Jeff. That's what we've been talking about all weekend. That's the groove you want to see for the flamboyant Noah Gregson. It's patience. That's what I like to see. He's one thing out of a race car, but behind the wheel, look at this right here. Just patiently, methodically working his way up on this 18.
Yeah, this Bass Pro Shops camera giving us a great view. Watch what Noah does. He's going to turn sooner than that 18 car. Try to get to the bottom. See Smith loose on corner entry. Noah trying to take advantage of it, trying to take the air off the back of that spoiler.
Noah, one of the drivers that tried to downplay the one race for a championship mentality because of the fact he won 8 races this year. He'd been the dominant driver as he just works his way to the inside and is going to complete this pass on Sammy Smith. But Noah Gregson said, you know what? One race for a championship. I look at our season. I think our season has been better than anybody else.
Well, I just got to spend some time with him in the pre-race show down there, and he had a speaker with him, had some music playing. He was free, he was loose. But the other thing you could almost hear in his voice was a little bit of emotion. And I don't think he talks about it a lot, but I think these days at Junior Motorsports mean a lot to him. When we sat down with him this week, he said it just flew by. Like, it feels like I just showed up at Junior Motorsports. I will always be indebted to this organization for what they have given me for an opportunity. But for a guy that is normally the guy you want to go party with, you can see that emotion. This means a lot that he's leaving at the end of the year.
Steve, I absolutely concur with that emotion he has for his team. I add to that the emotion that he had, or actually maybe the calm, cool, and calculated words that he had regarding Ty Gibbs. Ty is the car in front of him now leading the race. He's 2.5 seconds back. Remember what he said this week, how hard he would race Ty Gibbs if he wanted to. He called him out for being an inexcusable move to win that race last week. He said the championship had 3.5 men going for it. I don't believe he was impugning himself or his 2 junior motorsports teammates. And he said, I flat out don't like him. So if Noah Gregson can get to the 54, I don't think he's going to have any trouble trying to get around him any way he can.
And Noah's pretty vocal during the media event on Thursday about his dislike for Ty Gibbs. He didn't hide it. He just seemed like he relished the moment.
Played it up and actually was stirring the pot at every opportunity could. Maybe playing a little more mind games than we had even seen from Noah Gregson throughout the season. Marty.
Hey, Rick, on the topic of Ty Gibbs, last week at Martinsville, I asked him earlier this week in our conversation, I said, what was your toughest conversation throughout the week? He said, honestly, bringing the entire Xfinity shop together. I mean, all the teams, every employee, and he said it was my idea. He got emotional, even cried, I'm told, in that meeting, and wanted to say, I'm sorry for tearing our family apart. He said, listen, it took my grandpa, my Uncle JD, and my dad so long to build this team, to build this family culture, and I destroyed it in one selfish move. I can't take that back, but I have to learn to not be selfish with moves like that. So, Jeff, I'd love to get your opinion on this. He seemed very contrite. He seemed like he was truly sincere in his apology. Do you agree that's how Ty Gibbs kind of presented himself to us on Thursday?
I feel like one-on-one, Ty Gibbs did a really good job of presenting himself to us. Was very honest, very straightforward, looked us in the eye, gave us his opinion, admitted his mistakes. And I left that meeting with him, Marty, feeling like, yes, he had learned a lesson. This was going to help him become a better race car driver. And he's going to have to prove it to all the drivers and his teammates in the future. But one-on-one, I felt like he was sincere.
Yeah, said he was very selfish. He was thinking solely of a grandfather clock. He knew that at the end of that race, if you win, you get a grandfather clock. He wasn't thinking of anything else and felt terrible about it. And now he doesn't feel too bad about being out front, 3.4 seconds in front of Noah Gregson. You're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship on USA.
Laps into this race, and we're already seeing junior motorsports teammates run each other pretty aggressively, which was expected considering the success that team has had this season. Now, I caught up with Josh Berry, who were watching him run against his teammate in the 7, Justin Allgaier. Josh said he's not concerned about having to race his teammates. There's a known respect there amongst the team.
Whether it's fate or not, all the 4 guys always seem to run up front, so I'm sure we'll be racing with each other and seeing each other, and we'll just navigate through that the best we can. There's kind of an unsaid respect that's been amongst us. We've had a good relationship as teammates. We've had moments over the course of the year where we might have been frustrated with each other or decisions that happen on the track, but we can't be out there taking each other out, right? I don't think nobody wants to see that, but I think we all need to expect it to be aggressive, and that we're all gonna race each other hard, but fair. And like I said, those late race scenarios, they're all situational. You just got to be prepared for whether you're behind this guy or this guy's behind you, or how the 4 all shake out, and just be prepared to know how to handle it.
So far, so good amongst those junior motorsports teammates. That respect has been shown early on in this race, but still a lot of racing to go, and there's a big title on the line.
The championship 4 all inside the top 8 right now. The furthest back is Josh Berry, and up front it is young Ty Gibbs. Noah Gregson still 3.5 seconds back from Gibbs, running in that 2nd spot. Parker.
And Rick, one of the fastest of the championship 4 right now, started back in 11th and is all the way up to 5th, and that is the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He told us this morning this is the best car he's ever had at Phoenix. You know, historically around this racetrack, he's known to maybe even shift a little bit down in 3 and 4, but I asked him about that. He said, no, this car is so good, I don't even need to do that. I don't have to think about it. And he is showing the speed right now, trying to pass Nick Sanchez in that 48 car as he moves to the field. Just a little tight down in 3 and 4, but right now the 7 showing the speed and confidence that he had all weekend. They got a lot of speed in that thing, Dylan.
And Parker, for his teammate Josh Berry in the 8, it's sort of the opposite. They are really, really loose. We saw that from the Allgaier onboard just a few laps ago. He is loose everywhere, entry, middle, and exit. Now, don't be too alarmed because they always know that they get a little bit better as this race goes on, and that was something that crew chief Mike Bumgarner made note of. He said everything that we do in this race, especially early on, is just to set us up for the end of stage 2. Track position, adjustments on the car. We want to be at our best at that point in the race, and keeping up with the track too as it continues to get cooler here. Don't expect this 8 car to be struggling for long. They'll get this thing tuned in and he'll be coming through the field in a hurry.
Halfway through stage 1, and Noah Gregson's car is coming to him as he starts to reel in the 54 of Ty Gibbs.
The 54 has caught traffic, and to your point, I think the 9's gotten a little bit better as the tires aged. There's the 9 right here. He just looks pretty nimble. He's able to, as you see right there, turn underneath these lap cars. Also, I think the 54 gets fought a little bit harder as the leader.
'33 cars still on the lead lap. J.J. Yaley right now the last car on the lead lap.
Great shot right here. Let's take a lap around this very interesting, very unique racetrack. Watch what the start-finish line is on this racetrack. Right on the exit of turn 4. Then the front straightaway is a dog leg. Very tight dog leg. Sometimes you can skip it and run down through the apron. And then 1 and 2 is very much like New Hampshire, Steve. It's a very long corner. Takes forever. Just forever going around that corner. Wait for, well, it seems like a long time to get it back in the throttle. Then downhill into turn 3. Extremely heavy braking zone. Noah just wrapping that yellow line, keep it on the bottom, and accelerate coming to the start-finish line. Very unique racetrack. Dave.
And it's good to see him moving forward now, at least for his team, because as he waves to a car that he just passed, he knows what he wants in this car these days. I asked him if he did a lot of prep work before he comes to the races, and he goes, not as much as I used to. I really know the feel that I'm looking for, so when I come to the racetrack, it's subtle things. And so crew chief Luke Lambert told me overnight they made a change in the direction that they were going at the end of practice, just chattering the right rear a little bit loose, and they believed it would be the right way for today. And as he moves in on Ty Gibbs, it appears it's working.
This combination of Noah and Luke has really been impressive. It's hard to believe it's their first year together. Nothing other than the date he was hired says that, right? Their friendship, their success on the racetrack. We know they're moving up together at Petty GMS, who now has joined
Dave Ellens.
Well, he has Jimmy Johnson now as part of that ownership group. Dave Ellens, who was Noah's crew chief before, is already there. So it's going to be a lot of familiar faces. It's going to be interesting to see how they do on Sundays. But I asked Luke about that move, and he said, to be honest, I haven't had time to think about it. Every ounce of focus has been for this weekend.
Josh Berry trying to get by Brandon Jones. Berry the furthest back. This is for 7th if he can take it away, and he does.
Here's our buddy right there. I'm going to tell you, I've known him a long, long time. And there wasn't one time strapping in a race car that he was going to drive that I saw him anywhere near as nervous as he was this morning.
Yeah.
And he told us why. He said, I'm thankful I have 3 cars here. But, if we are not able to pull this off, what do I say, right? And he knew how tough the 54 is going to be in competition. So I thought it was a very honest reflection of the day ahead, but more nerves than I ever saw as Dale Jr. as a driver.
The co-owner, obviously, with sister Kelly Earnhardt Miller.
Just right along with Josh Berry. Xfinity mobile cam here. Josh has been working hard trying to get by Brandon Jones. Josh's car has gotten better compared to the competition as this run has gone on, and that's what we see with Josh Berry a lot. They're going to have to find some takeoff speed with this car, get it tightened up. Back of the car, just see him right there. He just does not trust the back of the car. See how much wheel movement he's got. What he wants to do right here is be able to turn underneath Brandon Jones. Brandon up the racetrack. It's an opportunity. Brandon's been running that line, and right here, Josh has to turn the wheel really sharp to keep him hitting Brandon, and that makes him looser. So that's why this pass has been hard for Josh to make.
So I think your assessment of Josh Berry's weakness is absolutely right. His fire-off speed, his aggression off the truck or right away, as we think we see a car up against the wall right there. No green or no yellow yet, which is shocking. There it is.
There's the caution. It's come out as the 08 of Brandon Brown, the 29-year-old out of Woodbridge, Virginia, has come to a stop just inside the wall, and it looks like the right front tire down, a little bit of damage to the right front.
Get into pit road.
Yeah, the whole right side. So he's definitely made contact with the wall.
The right front looks like it's pointed in the wrong direction a little bit there, Steve. So clearly some damage.
You know, always when they paint the walls at these tracks different colors, you know, it always seems to show up a little better. Right here, the bright blue walls of Phoenix, unfortunately for Brandon Brown, you see streaked all the way down the car. This one's going to be hard to continue.
Pretty hard. I tried getting in the brake as soon as, because if I was turning it, it blew. It darted straight at the wall. I cut it left, just stayed in the brake, but didn't slow down at all.
We said it blew. I assume he's talking about a tire. That's good feedback from the driver. Unfortunately, it doesn't help the situation, but helps us understand what he was battling.
Most likely a right front tire, and only 45 laps. I'm sorry, 31 laps so far on the green. You wouldn't think tire wear or anything like that, so he must have run over something.
Try to take a look at what happened here.
Oh yeah, you see him middle of the corner going straight up in turn 2. Man, pretty hard contact. That's an area of the corner where, thankfully it wasn't on corner entry. I mean, I know it was still a hard hit. Corner entry, though, is the max speed of the corner, so a little bit farther around. And I'm with you, Jeff. At only 31 laps, just unfortunately maybe run something over or had an issue with the car that caused the right front to go down. And this is the anxiety of all these crew chiefs. If you're the crew chief of the 54, it doesn't matter how fast your car is or how good your driver is or how good your pit stops are. If you run something over on the racetrack, your fate can be determined by this unfortunate turn of events. You can't let that stuff bother you or change you. That's racing. That's what this is all about.
Does somebody get off cycle here, Steve? With just now 12 to go until the end of the stage?
Of the championship 4, I don't believe I would. I think there's an opportunity. You could pit here and then stay out at the end of the stage. We might see somebody try that. With 4 sets of tires in the pit, though, I really think this first 45 laps is almost just like an extended practice. Figure out what your car is doing, make the right adjustments, and really focus on that final stage.
Just a couple cars have turned onto pit road, so we'll slip away quickly for a break. Be right back for the restart here at Phoenix. NASCAR Drive lets you follow your favorite drivers with access to their in-car cameras, their current position tracker, as well as pit stop data. Visit NASCAR.com/drive, or you can download the NASCAR mobile app to watch all of the action. Beautiful area here in Arizona as we take a look at the Championship 4, and it's tightened up now. All 4 inside the top 5, from Ty Gibbs all the way back to Josh Berry running in that 5th spot. Parker.
Rick, Justin Allgaier drove from 11th up to 3rd, but take a listen to some issues he may be having on his radio.
So I have lost all dash, everything's out. It's not cycling or anything anymore, but I still have the tack, so that's a plus. 10-4, as long as we still got a tack, that's good.
So let's break this down for a second. He's talking about all the ancillary gauges that give you engine temp, oil temp, and that's the only one I would be worried about, Steve, would be that water temp if you want to start adding tape as we go cooler into the night here. But he did also add, I don't care what any of those gauges say, I'm not pulling in at any point in this race, of course.
No, but Parker, you are absolutely right. This race is going to come down to the smallest of details. So I agree, it's not going to hurt the 7's performance on the racetrack now because he has a tack, which is how he determines his pit road speed. But as the lights start to come on, as you see him on your camera here, right, and the sun starts to set, a lot of these guys are going to start adding some tape to the grill, and it's going to be very hard for Jason Burdett to make that decision with any sort of confidence, not knowing what the water temperature is. So that could be the smallest of details that takes away an advantage that the 7 might have had.
Stage 1 ends in just 8 laps, so it will be a sprint to the finish of Stage 1. Noah Gregson, he's now beside the 54, so that gap that Ty Gibbs had built completely gone as we get ready for the restart. Side by side for second. Allgaier trying to work that inside line. Gregson clears him. Now it's 1, 2, 3 for Championship 4 contenders.
Yeah, Josh Berry in 5th, so they're all working their way toward the front.
There's Josh Berry, the only one that stands between him and the other 3 competitors is Landon Castle in the 10.
Look at the chaos behind them.
And he restarts. He gets everybody bunched up. He's in an 18 car. He's way down on the bottom. He pitted to put tires on.
Well, that's exactly right. They're trying to use these brand new tires to get as far forward as they can. Look at this mess. 3 wide. The 16 sliding up. The 23 trying to give him room.
Sammy Smith in the 18.
That 48 car on the outside of 3 wide. He also put tires on.
Nick Sanchez. 48 now, the 2 guys that put the tires on almost trading a little paint.
Well, and these guys are important for those playoff drivers because they're going to see how successful these tires were and put that into their data for later in the race. We got that long final stage of what are tires worth, where can you restart. This is all information they're learning.
Gibbs, after a great restart, now has a half a second lead over Noah Gregson. Allgaier a second back. Then Castle a second and a half, and Josh Berry just under 2 seconds behind Gibbs.
And this is one thing that, right now in this race, Noah Gregson, Allgaier, they're both learning where it is this 54 car is faster than they are on a short run. Clearly that 7 and 9 both have good long run speed, but they might need short run speed. They're close enough now to understand, okay, he's beating me in these areas and relaying that information to their team so they make the changes needed.
Steve, what do you always say about long runs and short runs?
Yeah, there's a short run in every long run. So even though you have a good long run car, you can't give up the time on the short run. And here's the 8 of Josh Berry finally getting the move to the inside of Landon Castle. I think this is the point where if you're in the 10, you've raced the 8 very, very hard. But once the 8 gets the dominant position, I think that's what we've seen in these championship races, right? You're going to kind of give them that spot.
And this is what we've seen virtually every year of the championship. The 4 running for the title are running together. 1, 2, 3, 4 right now on the racetrack. Gibbs looking strong early in this championship race. Almost a second advantage now over Noah Gregson running second. And now just 2 laps to go in stage 1.
It's important also, Ty Gibbs has dominated this race, sitting on the pole, led the whole thing. What can he do to make his car better? They can't get complacent also. They've got to be working hard. How can it be better? What little things can we do? Because everybody else is going to get better, and you're going to have to do the same.
Yes, Chris Gale on the pit box. They will make sure they give Ty Gibbs whatever he needs. Final lap now of stage 1. The gap still at a second. So Gibbs, Gregson, Allgaier, Berry running 1, 2, 3, 4. And they've separated themselves from the pack. Final time through 3 and 4 here in stage 1, and Ty Gibbs easily dominating the stage. He wins stage 1, his 9th stage win already this year. Gibbs, Gregson, Allgaier, and Berry. That's the way they end up in stage 1. Still 2 stages remaining here from Phoenix to determine a champion.
Stage 1 is complete. Ty Gibbs is your winner, but 2 Junior Motorsports drivers and playoff championship contenders behind him in Noah Gregson and Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier in the 7, though, complaining towards the end of that stage that he's lost all digital dash. It's flickering on him when he's hitting the... he's flickering on him when he's hitting the apron, and specifically when he's making his way into the dog leg there. It's probably the hardest hit that they have to take on the track, and with the expected restarts here to come, specifically this next one here in stage 2, that 7 team is hoping to get things figured out before they take this next restart.
NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Xfinity. Do more of what you love with faster internet. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. Credit One Bank, a credit card company, and by Toyota. Let's go places.
So the concern now for the Championship 4 are the handful of cars that pitted at lap 34. We had the 48 of Sanchez, the 18 of Smith. We saw Allmendinger, Hemrick, Herbst come in and use those fresh tires to kind of drive back up in the field, the highest being 7th. But I'm assuming that the reason they pitted at that point is because now they're going to stay out on the racetrack. Now we'll see if that comes true. But if that does, regardless of how good the pit stops are for the Championship 4, they'll now be in traffic. Now you still want to be the first of the 4. But we talk about control of the race a lot. And control is what Ty Gibbs currently has. He sat on the pole. He dominated the restart. You know, I'm not saying he can't be beat, but to lose this race, he must be beat, right? He has to lose the position as long as you have control of the race. But now they're going to go back in traffic as you see a couple cars stay out. It's going to become very, very interesting. Dylan.
Josh Berry said he found something in turns 1 and 2 on that little short run, but he's still too loose. They'll take 4 Goodyear tires, take a round out of the right rear, add some tape, and make an air pressure adjustment on the 8 car, Parker.
And doing for Justin Allgaier, the top right of your screen, he said, I made a brake adjustment and that hurt me on the restart, so I know not to do that for the future. He just needs that car to have a little more entry stability down into turn 3 and 4. He said, if we can get 3 and 4 better, we're going to be really good. 4 Goodyear tires for him, Dave.
Noah Gregson told his team, I need right rear grip on throttle, but don't numb up the front. I'm waiting on it right now. Track bar adjustment, a little piece of tape on the front as well. 4 Goodyear tires and fuel, Marty.
Ty Gibbs has led every lap to this point, Dave. And to Jeff's point a moment ago, Chris Gale told him on the radio, we have to stay ahead of the racetrack with changes and not get complacent. He said, really good, just a little bit too free off turn 4. They tightened him up a bit and won the race off pit road of those who pitted, Rick.
And you do not even see the 8 here on the screen. He had that bad of a pit stop. To win a championship, you have to limit the number of mistakes. And already we've seen mistakes out of the junior motorsports cars on this first pit stop. Let's go down to the Peacock pit box with Brad, KP, and DJ. Guys, who's the leader right now in this championship hunt?
Yeah, we've seen Ty Gibbs. He's taking control of this, but we saw, just as he said, mistakes on all 3 of the junior motorsports. What's up with that, man?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's almost like it was choreographed, as all 3 of these cars only got 1 pump on the jack, and it's not enough. So maybe it was something that was game plan. It was poor execution, though, by all 3.
Yeah, we talk about what a team sport this is, and when you're trying to win a championship, everybody has to do their job. And this whole group didn't make things happen, and the smoke you see coming out of the junior motorsports cars on the racetrack is coming out of the driver's ears. They are not happy right now, guys.
No, not happy at all. We see the 9 car right here. One more pump to get it up for the left rear, had a slow right rear. Steve, great call, man, great. Thank you for pointing all that out to us, man.
Well, one of the struggles here at Phoenix is you have to set so that there's like chains in the back to pick the tire up when you jack it up. And because of that crazy front stretch and the flat corners, the car rolls, and you don't want that chain to try to pick the tire off the ground on the racetrack. I can assure you, you will be awful. So basically, it seems to me all 3 cars had the same setting, but that setting didn't get communicated to the pit crew because the jackman thought he was going to be fine. All 3 cars with the same issue. So I think this is something they can resolve, but the damage on this stop's been done.
Rutledge.
Rick, you know, I'm always trying to find the best seat in the house, and I found it for this championship battle. It's right here. This is Dinner in the Sky, and these folks are about to go 150 feet up in the air on this Stafford crane. This team actually helped rebuild the speedway. They brought their friends down from Dinner in the Sky, Canada, to make this all possible. I'm going to get up there tomorrow, but guys, I wonder if you got up there, could you see Dale Jr.'s stress level right now?
Right, I'm going to tell you, it's a good thing you told me you were going up there tomorrow, because I was getting ready to call you out for doing that report safely outside the fence.
We hadn't done it yet. He's got the talking part done. Now we got to see him in the air. You know, back to those pit stops, Steve. I don't understand. Those teams, you know, they always get that jack underneath that car before qualifying and make sure that thing comes up off the ground. Clearly that didn't happen. Jackman was surprised.
First 4 cars stayed out on the racetrack under this most recent caution. That is Sanchez, Smith, Herbst, and Hasgrala. And right now, 3 wide, 4 wide behind him, and here comes the 54 of Ty Gibbs, all the way down on the apron, trying to make those pressure tires work for him as he comes out of turn 2.
All the way to second place, and now putting a lot of pressure on Sammy Smith, and all the other playoff guys are behind that, trying to work themselves through. Track position is king. You cannot lose it.
Barry, the worst of the Junior Motorsports cars coming off of pit road, now fighting to try to grab every spot he can early after this restart.
Ty Gibbs got by Sammy Smith for the lead. Now look at all the cars in between Ty Gibbs and the next guy racing for a championship, all the way to the 7 car, and he's back in 8th place. Pit stops and restarts, they are so important. Ty Gibbs and his team, they executed both, and the other teams didn't.
Now Ty Gibbs is going to try to check out again after leading 50 laps, and he'll start adding to that number.
Wow, such tight racing right here.
Riley Herbst in the 98. You saw maybe a little contact there between the 98 and 7 of Allgaier. Noah Gregson down to the yellow line through 3 and 4 as he looks to the inside now of teammate Justin Allgaier.
Noah got a great run off turn 2. Got underneath Justin. Justin's going to try to squeeze him. See him trying to get to that right rear quarter panel, pull the air off, but Noah's not having it.
Also on the move, the 8 of Josh Berry after losing the spots on pit road. He's trying to gain them back now on the racetrack.
Well, the 54 has the lead, but it happened because of an aggressive restart. The rule is you cannot change lanes before the start-finish line. We've seen multiple penalties here before, so let's take a look at this replay. I'm going to start frozen. This right here is Ty Gibbs. Here's the start-finish line.
One behind that.
Change lanes before that. I'm sorry. Yeah, my circle's a little small. 2 monster cars right there. If you freeze it, he's not below the yellow line, but he's definitely turning below the 98. I think I'm going to give that tie goes to the driver. I don't want to see it be officiated quite that close, but if I'm Chris Gale, I'm letting him know, hey man, start finish line, you got to get past it. We've seen penalties in the biggest race of the year called for that specific thing before. All these drivers need to be on notice. You cannot change lanes. Turn left is inviting it as it is. You cannot change lanes before the start finish line.
And they are challenged more by that rule at this racetrack than anywhere else, because the advantage is shortcutting that dog leg. It tempts you to turn left as soon as you can. You have to make sure you abide by the rules.
2 monster cars, nose to tail, Rick. It was 0 chance I was going to get the right one.
Nose to tail.
They could be different manufacturers, even different numbers. Maybe I'll talk to him about inverting the schemes next time, like a green car with the black logo.
Black logo. So Gibbs is up front. He's got a 1.4-second lead now over Timmy Smith, and the cautions come out as the 66 goes around. So J.J. Yaley bringing out caution number 3. So you better hope that Chris Gale has that discussion quickly, because another restart's about to happen.
Well, that's why I pointed it out. Now, I want to just be clear. I don't think Ty did anything wrong there. I think that's as close as you can get, though. So he has to really pay attention. Take a look, Jeff, what happened really here.
Yeah, I don't think there was contact, to be honest. I got to it late. There was a car behind him. I couldn't pick him out. See the 66 spinning.
Yeah, once again, he's kind of backwards into the sight when it comes into view. Well, you know, the interesting thing is,
it was Chris Wright, I believe, in the 68.
So what I will say, we talk a lot about being the final race of the year because the championship 4. All right, let's take a look at it here from the freeze. He's already really spinning right there. what I was going to mention about the last race is you had a year of frustration build up. So if you had somebody on your list, man, you don't want to sit on that all winter long. You want to kind of get it out of the way. But back to that restart and Ty Gibbs. I don't think he did anything wrong there, but that's as close as you can get it. And you know, NASCAR, of course, doesn't want to be involved in this race. They don't want to make it a judgment call. No one likes to watch sports that's you know, decided by the referees. But guess what? If there was no referees, we'd have no healthy sports. Right. Someone has to set the boundary. The rule is clear. We'll just see if anyone gets a little more aggressive as the race goes on.
And Steve, it's the line that the first car in that line sets too. So you can't get out of that line. It doesn't matter if you know you think that it's the yellow line. It's not the yellow line. It's the line that the first car sets.
Yeah, but you have to the inside car establishes the lane, and that lane has to be established above that yellow line. So the yellow line and the start-finish line both are factors. And again, most racetracks, it's just not an issue. But the start-finish line is in the middle of the corner here. Yeah. It's, you know, and it just creates a very unique situation. You actually, as the leader of the race, you can break the rule. You cannot establish the line in the right place.
Yep. Getting ready for the restart here at Phoenix after 3 cautions.
Caution's currently out here at Phoenix Raceway, but before so, that 48 of Nick Sanchez leading a few laps here at Phoenix. Nick is the ARCA Menard Series champion for 2022, getting a few reps in the Xfinity Series this season as well, but when it comes to full-time competition next season, he announced that he'll be driving in the Truck Series for Rev Racing. Nick Sanchez making a pretty big statement here today, battling with some champions, leading laps early on at Phoenix.
NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. And by Northern Tool and Equipment. Start solving your projects today at northerntool.com. We're made for this. Dylan, Josh Berry and that 8 team, a little bit of a tough stop for them, but have they rebounded on the racetrack?
Well, he did on that restart, was up 5 spots from where he restarted originally, but here is the radio communication after that slow stop.
Be patient here. A long ways to go here. I know. Be fine.
That's all Josh said was, I know. So he knows what the deal is. He knows the job he has ahead of him. He did come on the radio here after this previous restart and said, I'm still too free, so they've got to get him a little bit better, but watch him on this restart to try and make some moves and gain some more positions.
Talking about being too free, back of the car is still not hooked to the racetrack like he wants it to be, and that makes making those passes that much tougher. When you get underneath a guy, he pinches you off. You have to turn the wheel more as you're accelerating, and that in and of itself makes the rear tires want to spin more. Marty.
As the drivers have chosen for the restart, no conversation about the last restart for Ty Gibbs, but Chris Gale did mention staying ahead of the racetrack. Listen on the radio.
We just want to stay ahead of, just like we had practice last night, we want to keep it just very manageably to the free side. Don't let me get you too free, but we want to keep it just to that side.
Yep.
Hey, Steve, when your car is this dominant, how easy is it as a team to fall into that trap to say, hey, we're good, we don't need to adjust on the car?
I think you're absolutely right. You got to keep pushing your driver for feedback. The shade's now set on turns 3 and 4. That end's going to cool. That's going to change the balance a little bit. So, you know, that's what experience on top of the pit box can do. Just keep pushing those young drivers to think about what they need to be better. Interesting look off the rear bumper of the 54. Should we
The 19 of Brandon Jones, who got punted a week ago from a win at Martinsville, now lines up behind the 54 for this restart. He stays behind him. So now a drag race into 1, and Sammy Smith in the 18 trying to stay to the outside of the 54. A great run now by Smith.
Yeah, the outside worked for Sammy Smith and also for this 9 of Noah Gregson. He did a great job through 1 and 2 to get on the outside of Brandon Jones.
Gregson still trying to utilize that outside line as the fight for 3rd continues. Here comes Ty Gibbs looking to the inside of the 18 now. As those two race side by side, Noah Gregson has cleared the 19. He is now in 3rd, and he sets his sights on the lead.
That outside lane is working really well. Sammy Smith still with an advantage. Down here, though, I think the bottom's going to be the way to go.
Shade now through 3 and 4 because of the grandstands.
And this battle right here is exactly what Noah Gregson wants to see. This is slowing Ty down just a little bit. Can Noah take advantage of that? But see Sammy Smith, look how loose that 54 Gibbs is.
And look how difficult the sun is right now for these drivers as they drive right into it. Into turn 3, the battle for the lead continues. Look at how close they're running, and here comes the 9 of Gregson. Gregson to the inside. He's going to make it 3 wide for the lead. Gregson into turn 1, and he has stole the lead from Sammy Smith and Ty Gibbs.
Sammy still fighting on the outside, though. And with that 54 behind, directly behind the 9, that's going to make Noah even that much more loose. Just pulling air off that rear spoiler.
Now Gregson trying that inside line. Here comes the 54. He gets right to his back bumper.
Watch Noah right here. Noah, I think, is one of the best drivers on the racetrack making passes. How can he get it done?
All the way to the back bumper. Gibbs does not make contact. Now he looks to the inside. He's going to try to take second back away from Gregson.
Watch the 9 of Noah. He slowed down. He's going to try to cross him over. Slowed his entry into 3, then accelerated before the 55 to get back underneath him.
2 young drivers that are trying to master their craft. And Noah Gregson back in front of Ty Gibbs. Both will be racing on Sundays next year.
What a great battle. And how about Sammy Smith giving no quarter to his teammate? Did not cut Ty Gibbs any slack whatsoever.
26 laps, now 27 into stage 2 of this championship race. And the advantage goes to Noah Gregson. He's in front of the other 3. Dave.
Rick, earlier we talked about the words that Noah Gregson had for Ty Gibbs this week, but you really sense when Noah talked about this race in the championship that he wanted to show the 54 and everyone else that they could do it by racing, on track, passing, winning this race, or at least finishing the best of the championship 4. And that's because it's for the whole team. Noah loves relationships, and he loves seeing other people score wins, not just himself behind the wheel. So as he moves into second, he moves into the lead for the championship, Rick.
Yeah, we're looking off at the Toyota onboard here of Ty Gibbs, that sun in front of him. But how focused is Ty Gibbs on getting back to the bumper, at least of that 9, and trying to take back control? Remember, Steve, you mentioned the word control of the race. Right now, control of the championship goes to Noah Gregson.
Yeah, Noah, I think, is a little better, or at least as good as the 54 in 3 and 4. It's down here in 1 and 2, where I think Ty Gibbs this car right there. It turns a little better where you can pick up the throttle a little sooner. That's where he gains the time back. Jeff, now at this end, I think the 9 actually gets through the banked end of the corner a little more.
Well, the 9 has a disadvantage because he's got the 18 car in front of him, which is taking air off of him, and then the 54 gets behind him and takes air off of him. But Noah, with a great corner right there, he's going to clear Sammy Smith for the lead.
Takes the lead away here in Phoenix. Noah Gregson out front. Ty Gibbs trying to follow him past the 18 of Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith continues to battle him for that spot.
See that car wiggling around, the 54 car off turn 2. You can see the back of the car just not planted in the racetrack like he needs it to be.
Up the racetrack, the 54 goes right across the nose of the 18.
He gave Sammy Smith no option but to lift. Either lift or wreck right there.
And how about the 7? Now back into the picture. Here comes Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, that momentum that he lost, Sammy lost, was because of that lift off the throttle, and Justin Allgaier took advantage of it.
The 8 of Josh Berry, the other of the championship 4. And look at how difficult it is back here. Looks like rush hour on the 405 in LA. Josh Berry, he's running in the 9th position. Teammate Sam Mayer just in front of him in the 1. So Gregson has taken control of the race here in Phoenix. Gregson, Gibbs, Allgaier running 1, 2, 3.
Justin Allgaier in the 7, moving into the 3rd position. When you look at that top 5, Justin by far has the most experience here at Phoenix of any of those drivers. The most experience in this series, really, I should say, of any of the other competitors around him. But in talking with Justin earlier this week, he made it clear that as much as he loves Phoenix and is confident here, experience really doesn't matter. He said, my homework in watching past races has taught me that this race is so different every season. The track is different, the competition is different, and this year specifically, the level of competition is highest he's ever seen in this series. So he knows the challenge he has ahead of him, and unfortunately doesn't feel much that he can rely on his veteran status when it comes to this championship or challenge.
You saw it on nonstop. Ty Gibbs able to take the top position away from Allgaier. And Gregson, as Gregson has dropped back to 3rd now. Allgaier is up to 2nd. This is how the pass was made.
Yeah, Noah's just too loose right now. And Ty Gibbs just back of the car is more secure, just able to take the air off his car. And then watch this battle. Justin getting underneath and a little bit of contact.
A game of inches, maybe even less than that, fractions of inches, as Allgaier goes past the 9 of Noah Gregson up into the 2nd position. So now it's Gibbs, Allgaier, and Gregson 1, 2, 3.
And you see right there on that pass what Allgaier did is he really brake checked Noah big time in the middle of 3 and 4 to keep Noah from crossing back underneath him. And when it did, he had to get off the gas and on the brakes hard, and that allowed Sammy Smith to put a lot of pressure on him. Good move by Allgaier to keep him getting crossed over.
You see how far back now Noah Gregson has got as we look back from the Goodyear onboard of Allgaier. Allgaier a 2.5 behind Gibbs, and then another 0.8 of a second back to Gregson. Josh Berry still running in the top 10, but he's all the way back in the 10th position right now. Marty.
How about Ty Gibbs? So quick right now. So, Jeff, an interesting thing to think about here with 5 to go in stage 2. He clearly has the best car in the field. Justin Allgaier might rival him a little bit. But because of that, will that make the other Championship 4 drivers a little more desperate and a little more willing to take some risk on restarts coming up in stage 3? What do you think about that?
Well, I think you just saw that Noah Gregson knows right now that he's got to make his car better. And the question is, can Ty Gibbs and that team make this 54 better? Is there an opportunity for Allgaier to get in front of Gibbs? And I think Allgaier can match his pace. And I think it'd be a more difficult pass for Gibbs to get back in front of Allgaier. But we just saw Junior Motorsports, they're going to have to clean the pit stops up. They cannot continue to give Ty Gibbs the lead on pit road. Dave.
Until they adjust on this car for Noah Gregson, Noah needs what he needs to try on the racetrack. Listen to this radio from the 9.
I think if he can use his Sheldon on the exit of 2, I think it might help. Tell him to use Sheldon on the exit of 2. The 2, Sheldon, exit of 2.
Sheldon, exit of 2. Noah told me this morning, instead of using a lot of different calculations and engineer speak, they watch a lot of video together and they watch what other drivers do. They know what Sheldon Creed does on the exit of turn number 2, and he told me when they use those phrases, I know exactly what they're talking about. So whatever Creed does well here, that's what they want Gregson to do. Do the Sheldon, exit of 2.
That's fascinating that in all of this, with all of this pressure, that another driver's name is going to resort back to some video they've watched or position on the racetrack. And you know, Luke obviously knows what he's talking about, so Noah can process that and then make adjustments behind the wheel.
Why the code word? Why can't he just say, hey, do this?
Well,
why can't just watching that tape, and I guess they just spend so much time together that that's how they reference it.
Noah says he's a visual learner, and it helps him a lot just to be able to picture what Sheldon's doing.
Yeah.
Well, my guess is it's using the apron, Rick.
Yeah, coming to the green and white checkered, and that is stage 2. So this is the first time that Ty Gibbs has swept stages in a race. Ty Gibbs wins stage 1 and 2. Ty Gibbs, a 10-time winner in his very young career, just 50 starts. And his percentage is incredible. We'll see if he can finish it out. 1 stage remains in this championship race from Phoenix.
Two stages complete here from Phoenix Raceway, and the 54 of Ty Gibbs is your stage 2 winner. Now, in catching up with Ty earlier this week, he's made it evident that it's been a bit of a rough week for the young driver. A lot of noise, let's say, but hey, that's expected. That's part of professional sports. For Ty, he's reflecting on the season and really wants to emphasize how much he's learned.
There's definitely a lot of noise currently right now, and I think, you know, the biggest thing is I put myself in that position, so, you know, I have to own up to it and keep working forward. You know, that's the best thing. You know, I'm working as hard as I can to learn from my actions, and I guess the noise will die down, but, you know, the noise has been a part of, I feel like, professional sports forever, and that's what drives it, and, you know, I'm just thankful to be where I'm at. I have to learn,
Ty, a 10-time winner in this series, now competing for the championship in his first year of eligibility to do so. Not to mention, he was also pulled into the Cup Series this year to fill in for a driver in 2311 Racing. So it's been a lot of noise, a lot to deal with this season for the 54 of Ty Gibbs, but now here in the season finale, he seems to be handling it all just fine.
NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Xfinity. Do more of what you love with faster internet. Xfinity, proud premier partner of NASCAR. Credit One Bank. a credit card company, and by Toyota. Let's go places. Now just 108 laps remaining in the Xfinity Series season. Steve told us they could go 75 to 85 laps based on fuel. And so this won't be the last stop of the race, but it is definitely important. We have seen the Junior Motorsports teams struggle on the first stops. We'll see if they can correct that situation and get their drivers maybe gaining some spots on pit road. Right now it's Gibbs, Allgaier, and Gregson running 1, 2, 3. Let's listen into Josh Berry's radio.
That's what we got to do. We got to get you out of all this mess here. Probably not helping to use your stuff up there that fast. I know it's not fun in there. We'll get you fixed up. Still a long ways to go here, man.
Bumping him up.
Yeah, get you out of that mess. Right now he's running in the 10th position. And cars on pit road, Dylan.
And for Josh Berry, he is still too loose, and he said, "You need to tighten me up if I'm going to do anything here." The previous changes they made at the end of stage 1 did nothing, so they're going to make a big swing out of here with a track bar adjustment, 4 tires and fuel for Berry. Parker.
Dylan, Justin Allgaier at the top right of your screen said he could have won that stage if he got by the 9 of Noah Gregson faster, just a little bit tight in the center and needing more stability on the entry. 4 Goodyear tires for him. We'll see if JRM can clean up these pit stops, Dave.
Noah Gregson said, "I need more right rear grip on exit." They're going further on the chassis adjustment they made last time. See if they get the jack up in one pump, and they're up again, Marty.
Ty Gibbs has proven to have the dominant car today, leading all but 18 laps to this point. So he's still really good, just a little bit too tight, especially in 3 and 4, but they will lose a spot here. How about that? JRM answering the bell, Rick. They have a nice stop.
A huge stop for Allgaier and the 7 team. They now are in control of this race here in Phoenix. The restart coming up. Blake Shelton, Carson Daly, and Nikki Bella invite you to the place where celebrities throw back and throw down. Barmageddon. The games begin December 5th on USA. I believe Jimmy Johnson is going to be a part of that as well, so we look forward to that. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship from Phoenix, and closing in on the final 104 laps of this race. Check in with the Peacock Pit Box. Brad, KP, and DJ. All right, 1 stage to go. Does Allgaier's pit stop make a big difference in the minds of these championship 4?
Let's go to Brad with that one.
I'll tell you what, I don't think so. And I'll tell you what I've noticed these last 2 stages. Ty Gibbs' car, he starts out, it's very free. But the longer it goes, the faster it gets. So the key to me is this restart. How many spots can Ty get on this restart like he did the last one?
Yeah.
And who can stay in front of him because he's coming?
Yeah, they're going to have to make him use up some tires, I think, because his tires just stay on there so long. So they're going to have to really aggravate him, if you will. Here, who's going to be able to do that? And will somebody try to run this out and maybe put on 2 tires if we go green from this point on?
That's a good idea.
The key to me is going to be what adjustments did these guys make to run with Ty Gibbs?
Yeah, I agree.
Because if they're not making adjustments, they're getting farther and farther behind.
Yeah.
Rut, Talking about somebody behind, let's go to Rutledge Wood.
Oh, guys, I'm down here on Dale Jr. watch. He is still on Sam Mayer's pit box, and the nerves are high. It's fun to see that excitement when the cars barrel into 3 and 4. He's got to stand up. He doesn't have a clear shot. He's been watching. When Noah got out front, he was clapping and cheering. But I tell you what, that right leg has not stopped tapping the entire time he is in that chair. I think the nerves are super high with my guy right now.
Well, he's absolutely loving what he's seeing right now with the 7 of Allgaier out front. We saw they all had bad pit stops on the first stop. They could not get the left sides up. Well, let's go back and watch this pit stop. So, bad pit stop the first time. Pretty clean on the right side. A little slow on the right rear, but not terrible. A good recovery. Watch the jack man. Watch what he does. One jack, another jack. That little bitty extra pump at the end. That gets the left rears up off the ground, and now they can get the tires on and off. That little bit of change by that crew, that made the difference right there.
And we remember the 7 crew won a Cup championship last year with Kyle Larson. That's the same crew that Larson utilized, and as well as that #1 pit stall to get the championship in the Cup Series a year ago. Getting ready for the restart to get stage 3 underway. Allgaier on the inside, Ty Gibbs on the outside. Shortcutting the racetrack down the apron into turn 1, and up the racetrack goes the 7 of Allgaier.
We saw in the last restart how that outside started to work over in 1 and 2.
Diving into 3 and 4, Allgaier still with the advantage. Ty Gibbs fighting on the outside.
Ty wants to pinch Justin off, entering turn 1 right here.
That high line works again as Gibbs clears the 7, and Ty Gibbs once again out front.
I think they're going to have to start paying attention to turn 1 on restarts. You think you want to pick the bottom. But we've seen now in the last 2 restarts that middle lane has gotten the lead. You may want to change your strategy.
Ty Gibbs back up front, Allgaier, Gregson, 2 and 3. Then it's Brandon Jones, AJ Allmendinger, Evan Castle, Sheldon Creed, and in 8th right now, Josh Berry. Daniel Hemrick and Sammy Smith rounding out the top 10. 100 laps remain here from Phoenix. And a big issue coming out of turn 4. They pile up.
More coming. Lock it down. Lock it down.
I think that all started with Sammy Smith and that 1 car of Sam Mayer. Those guys were battling hard after this restart. Let's go back and watch what happened. It's tight, hard racing. We'll see right here, Sammy Smith on the bottom, gets up the racetrack. Just a little bit of contact right there with the 1 car.
And the 98 was right on the back bumper of the 18 as well.
They were going at it the lap before this happened. And both of them with good race cars, with a long way to go. 2 young race car drivers need to recognize with about 100 laps to go, a little too early for all of this.
Well, youth at its finest, Jeff. You always talk about the Xfinity Series is about young race car drivers. That's 18 and 19. 2 teenagers.
And the one car of Mayer was pretty loose, got really loose. He's already loose, and then the contact right there from the 18.
And the 98 got into the back of the 18, and that put the 18 into the wall as well. Getting caught up, Stephen Parsons in the 45. We saw Ryan Sieg in the 39. So body parts getting picked up there by the safety crew here at Phoenix.
See the deck lids off this car. They got a ton of work to do to try to get back on track.
There are required parts to these cars that they'll have to have before they can go out on the track. We'll take a quick break, be right back for the restart. NASCAR. And you can follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as radio broadcast. Search NASCAR in your app store to download. You can start a free trial today. All right, so Jeff, you mentioned that they had been roughing each other up a little bit even prior to this happening in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, just after restart, things get really aggressive. Sam Mayer and Sammy Smith. You know, Sammy into the back of Sam Mayer, right in the middle of the corner, runs Sam up the racetrack. And then we know later on, a lap later, these two get together. You know, two young guys just, giving their best, trying to have a good day, and now they both have damage. It's kind of really unnecessary, to be honest. They'll learn, young race car drivers. Both are fast. See that contact right there?
Pushing one of the racetrack. Steve, I mentioned certain parts have to be on here before a car can go back out.
Yeah, the deck lid and the spoiler are required components. Bigger tracks, the rear tail is as well. Here at Phoenix, the deck lid and the spoiler was their main concern, but it's going to really harm the efforts for the 1. You mentioned damage. I thought the 18 got through relatively unscathed compared to the 1.
Yeah, he was in the wall a little bit, and that concerns me. They did have to come down pit road with that 18 car. Not sure what repairs they had to make.
So now the question is, for this restart, Ty Gibbs, he has experienced what it's like on the outside and how there's a little more success. Does he choose that outside line for the restart here?
That's going to be very interesting, because I agree with Jeff. Twice now we've seen the outside really roll turns 1 and 2.
What scares you about doing that is that now you've exposed yourself to someone getting into your door, someone getting into your left rear quarter panel. You control that on the bottom, you can't control it on the top. So that is the difficult part. But as far as speed in the middle of 1 and 2, I like the outside right now.
Obviously not choosing yet, because we saw the 54 run right over the box. And so we'll wait for the choose here in just a moment. Marty?
Rick, Ty Gibbs has also noticed the outside is rolling. They just had a conversation about what to do on this choose for the next restart. Listen.
We think bottom here. I don't know if you agree. Like, it's almost even when you look at it, but I think you can control it better from there. What are your thoughts? No. Copy.
A simple no. Parker, how about that? He thinks the outside's the best way to go on this restart. He agrees with Steve and Jeff.
Well, Marty, it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out here for Justin Allgaier. Earlier in the race on the first restart, he noted how he'd made an adjustment with his brakes that he didn't like. He's taken that back. But since this last restart, losing the lead to Ty Gibbs, he said nothing on the radio. The team hasn't said nothing to him about what happened there. So we'll see if the 7 decides to maybe go with the 54 to the bottom or to the outside, Dave.
Before Sam Mayer got involved in that crash, remember, he's a teammate to Noah Gregson. He was running a high line that they told Noah might be pretty good. Noah's like, yep, okay, let's remember that. Call it the Sam Mayer if you want me to run that later, Marty. Dylan?
And Dave, for Josh Berry, they continue to just tell him and pump him up. Hey, we're not out of this. We got plenty of time. 94, now 93 laps to go. The one thing that Josh said, too, about this day is just not about overthinking it. We just have to put this one race together, and we'll be the champions. Now, they're working through some handling issues. He's been loose all afternoon long, and the big thing they want to do here is really kind of hoping for a little bit of a longer run to get some separation. Josh knows he's going to have to make some moves on the restart when everybody's bunched up together, but they can get spread out a little bit, and he can race and actually drive this car. They still think they're okay, so plenty of time left for these guys to try and make something out of this day as he runs 8th right now.
Yeah, 92 laps still to go when they come back for the green flag. And the choice was given to Ty Gibbs. He said, I'm going to choose the outside, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and I actually like this choice. I understand what the crew chief was saying, that, hey, it's about 50-50. We think you can control the bottom. Ty knows what he can and can't control. He feels he has to be in the top. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah, I think Chris Gale, with all that experience on the box, he's worried about the 7 car being into the side of the 54. That's the only negative, is you expose yourself to that. Let's see if Allgaier takes advantage of it.
Well, now what if Justin Allgaier decides to not take the shortcut? That forces the 54 to stay out high. So we'll see how they do the restart. Right now, 92 laps to go from Phoenix.
Ty spun the tire for that restart. A little bit of contact right there.
How good is that outside line? The 7 now fighting on the inside for the lead. Into 3 they go. Ty coming way down the racetrack. Allgaier not giving him a lot of room. Here comes the 9 of Gregson. fight for second between Gregson and Allgaier, and Gregson's going to win that battle.
Look at the 7 of Allgaier trying to drive underneath the 9 of Noah. They're going to be side by side into turn 3.
Gibbs out front. The fight for second continues. The 7 of Allgaier, a half a car length behind the 9 of Gregson. Oh, contact made. The 7 up into the 9.
Noah able to use that outside lane. Yes, sir. Oh, a little bit of wreck.
35 is sliding. That's Joey Gase. And the caution comes out. Sammy Smith
in the rear there.
Involved again. He's got no left rear tire.
Get it fired up. Get it fired up.
Talked about being in that accident. And now what does that do? You got to come back down pit road, work on your car. Now you're back in the pack, and these things happen. A tough lesson for a young Sammy Smith.
Also involved, you see Mason Massey here in the 91. Sparks coming out as the right front tire down for sure. Crew of the 18 trying to get the tires changed on that car.
Looks like there's contact spinning the light blue car around, then a chain event behind it. Yeah, there you go. The 34 contact into the 35's quarter panel.
And Kyle Weatherman, Joey Gase. And then right there, see the 18 of Sammy Smith. Top of your screen, it's where it all happens. It's a little contact right there, and then behind them, they just all stack up.
So the 6th caution of the day has come out, which means another restart.
Well, first the decision is, you know, we said 75 to 85 laps. So if I'm Gibbs, Gregson, or Allgaier, I don't think I'm going to come to pit road yet. But if I'm Josh Berry in the 7th position, at some point I have to look at the reality. I have to say, do I believe I can outrun the other 3? Now, the other 3 could absolutely wreck each other from what we've seen for Aggressive. But is this the line in the sand that Mike Baumgartner decides? Does he say, you know what, we're going to come in, we're going to make adjustments, and we're going to fill this car up with gas. And if we get a couple big yellows, that might be what we need to make it to the end. So let's take a look. The green light is on. He's definitely staying out. See, I would have thought, I know they're hoping for this long run and thinking this 8 car is going to come in, but you asked earlier in the day, Rick, would somebody get off strategy if they had to? Would they throw a Hail Mary? I thought that could have been a Hail Mary for the 8.
So far, everyone's staying on the same strategy. It's Gibbs, Gregson, and Allgaier, the top 3 for the restart coming up next. Tomorrow, Sunday Night Football. A pair of 5-2 division leaders are going to battle it out. Derrick Henry and the Titans visit Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Coverage begins with Football Night in America. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Valley of the Sun, the site for championship week as we look at the championship 4 and where they're running. Familiar. Gibbs running in that first spot. Gregson second. Allgaier third now, and Josh Berry in seventh, Parker.
And Rick, Justin Allgaier is right in the thick of this championship battle, but he just came on the radio and asked his team, are you sure all the wheels are tight? And they replied yes. He said, well, there's something weird going on the rear end, especially when I accelerate. So a possible issue for Justin Allgaier in that 7 car right now.
That's questions you never want from your driver if you're the Jason Burdett sitting up there.
All right. If you're Ty Gibbs, and a very vocal Noah Gregson all week long said he didn't care about Ty Gibbs, would you want Noah Gregson lining up on your inside for this restart?
I would not want him there, but I think it's the right lane as far as speed. But we're going to find out right now what Noah's willing to do.
Good restart for both drivers as Gregson stays right on his door. That's Sheldon Creed in the 2 way down on the apron. The 54 surging ahead now as they come out of 2. Very close there as Gregson got to his left rear quarter panel. Up the racetrack a little higher, the 54 of Gibbs. And Gregson clears the 54 now once again through the apron.
Full commitment by Noah Gregson into turn 3. I didn't think that car would stick as far as he drove it in the corner, but it did.
Here comes the 54, looking to the inside now of Gregson. Falls back in line. Allgaier to third. 19 of Brandon Jones running in the 4th spot, and very tight. Gregson has Gibbs to his inside once again.
Gregson's goal right here is just to get a good launch off the exit of 2. He's able to make it happen. Now get to the bottom. Hard on the brakes right here to keep that 54 behind. He did not do it. Gave clean air to that 54 of Gibbs, but still pulling away. I thought Noah would have been best served to slow the center of the corner down in 3 of 4. To not give the bottom to Ty, but what he did worked.
Gibbs so good through the center of 1 and 2. Now back to the inside of the 9 of Gregson.
Watch Noah, watch him. Nope, I thought he might try to check up and cross Ty over, try to drive back under him, but he did not do it.
Gregson staying up high.
And this battle is bringing the 7 of Allgaier into the picture, and he's been running a very interesting line. This time a little more conventional, but the last time through 1 and 2, he was almost up in the 3rd lane searching for that extra grip.
That 54 sliding out of turn 2. He was so low on the racetrack. Now a car length and a half separate the top 2.
You just get the sense that Gibbs has the best car, and he wants to be aggressive, but he's afraid, to cross that limit with the best car. And Noah's not going to give him an inch. See that center of the corner, how much better Gibbs is, and that allows him to get underneath Noah.
We've heard him say the 54 is better through 1 and 2, but we think we can stay with him through 3 and 4. And you see the 9 of Gregson drive into turn 3.
But Allgaier being behind him, if he was just a little bit closer, he might could take advantage of this.
These two continue to fight door to door for the lead. This time Gregson harder into turn 1, but rolling through the center again, the 54 of Gibbs so strong. But now enter the 7 of Allgaier right there now. He's at the back bumper of the 54.
Now that pass is going to be that much more difficult for Ty Gibbs with that 7 behind him.
Running way up high is the 7 of Allgaier. Let's see if the momentum works for him here as he comes off a 2. Look at the run he has. And Right to the back bumper again of the 54. What a championship race.
That 54 is so good. Allgaier thought he was going to be able to drive to his rear bumper and then turn underneath him, but he just couldn't do it. Look how high the 7 is this time.
He's working his right sides up into that traction compound, and it has worked. He's going to get to the outside of the 54.
Now the fight for second is on. Allgaier using that higher line.
Let's see what Justin does this time down into turn 1. You said it, Steve, way up the racetrack. They did not put traction compound down, but it might still be some there left from the last race. Oh, yeah.
It's working. It worked for the 9, it worked for the 7, and now the 54 might have to rethink the direction he goes when he goes through turns 1 and 2.
And behind this great battle, Josh Berry has worked himself up to 4th.
And once again, the championship 4 contenders run 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, watch the 7 car. Watch what he does. Drives in the corner. Oh, Noah Gregson, he heard or saw what the 7 was doing, and he answered the call. He went to the top.
Lower right corner of your screen.
They told him over the radio, guys. They told him over the radio exactly what Allgaier was doing, and Gregson tried it.
That's awesome, Dave. Great report. That's a spotter being on it. Tyler Mon giving that information.
You see Coach Gibbs in the lower right corner of your screen. JGR owner, and on the left side of the bottom there, Junior Motorsports co-owner Dale Jr. watching on as these cars battle for a championship. Remember, they all still have to come to pit road at some point in time. 73 coming up on 72 laps to go. It's Noah Gregson, Allgaier, and Gibbs 1, 2, 3, and add Berry to the picture. The official app of NASCAR Tracks lets you stay up to date on the latest race and event information from all of your favorite tracks. Search NASCAR Tracks in the App Store to download for free. You can start using today. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship from Phoenix. Now only 66 laps to go to find out who the champion will be. Gregson, Allgaier, Gibbs, Berry running 1, 2, 3, 4.
When you see where that 9 and that 7 are now running at turns 1 and 2, way up in that third lane. That and this setting sun, I think, are two changes to what these cars need to be good. The 54 is still decent, but he definitely has lost a little bit of pace from what he had earlier. So now it comes down to this final pit stop. Can you make the right adjustment? Is it going to be 4 tires? You're going to be really close to the end of the race. Will somebody gamble on 2 tires? We're just going to have to wait and see. But the adjustments, Parker, are going to be key.
Right, and I think for Justin Allgaier, it's going to be about maybe tightening up that car a little bit on exit. You've seen that back end wiggle around, especially off of turn 4. But often in these Championship 4 races, we see the Championship 4 all running 1, 2, 3, 4 and battling the front. Well, we're not the only ones who notice. Take a listen to 7 radio.
I think if there was ever a question of who the final 4 should be, I think you're looking at pretty awesome how we all ended up here, huh?
That's from earlier in the race when they were all 1, 2, 3, which they are once, 1, 2, 3, 4, which they are again. And Justin told me before this race, though, in terms of racing his teammates for a championship, he said they've set the precedent this year of being very aggressive, and I will not hold back in trying to get a championship, Dave.
When I talked to the leader, Noah Gregson, this morning, I asked him, how do I tell people that you prepare for this race when you're such a fun guy? They know you're fun. They know sometimes you throw up after the race when you win. He said, tell them I go and talk to everybody in my shop. And sometimes those relationships build genius ideas. Someone will pull me aside and say, hey, have you ever thought about that? Spends a lot of time at the shop. And I think that's the kind of relationship that allowed his spotter to put him up in that high lane as well, that's taken him to the lead.
Yeah, Dave, that's a great report about the spotter and the trust that Noah Gregson had. The minute that Allgaier was working that top, his spotter said, hey, you got to go to the top, just like the traction compound in the spring. And lap 1, he went up there. Full trust, full send to go up there and trust that there's grip there. That was a great call and a great move, driver and crew chief working together. Now, as this run has gone on, I'm starting to see that 7 car of Allgaier have a little more speed than Noah.
Full commitment, Noah Gregson. You look at the last 9 races, 5 wins. Yeah, that's right. You do the math, over 50%. He has been in victory lane. 9 top 10s of the last 9 races. So momentum definitely on his side. He's been one of the best all season long, but getting better and really peaking here at the end of the season, which is exactly what you want to do if you want to win a championship. Marty, how about Ty Gibbs? What's he learning now?
Yeah, Rick, time for our Toyota driver update. Ty Gibbs trying to get back to the front. He said earlier this week, after what happened at Martinsville last week, I have to drive off instinct, muscle memory, and wisdom. The second I start driving off emotion, that's when things can spin out of control. To that point, he and Tony Hirschman, his spotter, himself a 2-time championship spotter with Kyle Busch, sat down. He said, I want you to say the same phrase over and over today. Smart, rhythm, out-discipline everybody. The lead heating up, but there right now, the 54, a little bit too free on entry.
Well, the 9 got a little bit loose. The 7 took advantage of it, got right to his back bumper. Now we'll see if he can add some pressure to the 9 and take away the top spot. But while those 2 are closing in the gap, also the 54 has figured some things out.
Yeah, watch as they come down the back straightaway. Watch the 7 of Allgaier. He started working the outside of 3 and 4. Yep, there he goes, going to try it again. They actually did apply traction compound to this end of the racetrack, and he's up there looking for it. Not quite the grip, but look at the advantage. A little bit of advantage he gives him down this front straightaway. He's trying to get that traction compound to fire off.
Here comes the 54. Gibbs looking to the inside of Allgaier again, but Allgaier using that higher line, trying to keep the momentum up, not able to do it. Steve, looks like the tires might be wearing away here a little bit. These guys have got their hands full.
Yeah, well, 26 laps on this green flag run. So that's about about a third of the way through the tire life as these rear tires start to wear. Big run here for the 54. What will he do with it?
Allgaier almost into the wall there as he came out of 4. Gibbs, we'll see what line he takes. He goes back to the bottom of the racetrack. Now the 7 having to fight to the inside of the 13 of Dawson Cram.
Wow, Allgaier almost across the nose of the 54 car. Guys, 3 and 4 is starting to fire off at the top. They're starting to go there, and it's, see right there, look at the middle of the corner speed for that 7 of Allgaier. You're going to have to change your lane. Coming into this race, nobody thought that was going to happen, but it is fired off on both ends of the racetrack.
Think about the experience of the 7 of Allgaier. 24 starts here at Phoenix in the Xfinity Series. So many more races that he's been able to be on this track. 7 starts for Noah Gregson, 2 for the 54 of Ty Gibbs, and only 2 for the 8 of Josh Berry.
Noah did not go to the top to block that.
Into the wall was the 7 off of turn 4, right up against it.
It's just a little stripe. He's all right. This is for a championship.
Using every inch of this racetrack, and Steve, if it stays this way, we're going to see green flag pit stops.
We are, but we're not going to see him maybe about 25 laps to go in this race, so we're going to be right up against the finish. So we still have a good 30 laps of green flag racing.
Things heating up front as Noah Gregson and the 7 of Justin Allgaier, as well as Ty Gibbs, all fighting up here for the top spot.
Justin Allgaier in the 2nd position, putting some pressure on his teammate Noah Gregson. When I caught up with Justin earlier this week, I asked him how comfortable he was with getting aggressive here towards the end of this race. He said, there's a line.
Being able to put yourself in position to make the Final Four, it's a big deal. And I don't think I really appreciated that until last year when we didn't make it. We were the first one to miss it last year. Super disappointing, but also just, I think it makes you realize how special this race weekend is. Really, truly, I don't think you get the perspective of what this sport really, truly embodies until you've had the experience to go through it. So, proud of our team, but on the other side of that, there's a lot of want to get them all a championship, right? Like, I want to win a championship, there's no question, but I want to get them a championship. I want to get our team a championship. I want our team to finish 1, 2, 3 in points. 2022 has been an incredible season for all of junior motorsports. So we definitely come into this race with an opportunity and with a team that's capable of going for a championship, and that's what's going to make it fun.
Justin Allgaier not having to make too many aggressive moves at this point, as now he's moved into the 1st position.
Just 49 laps remain. The NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship from Phoenix. It's Allgaier out front. Now Gibbs running 2nd. Gregson has fallen back to 3rd after missing the turn in turn 4. And the other 2 championship contenders pounced on him.
Oh, this racetrack is changing rapidly. Let's go back and watch Noah Gregson, how he lost this lead. He entered high, which is what you think you want to do when the outside starts coming in, but the track's not ready to do that yet. Entered high, and the car just did not have grip, and everybody took advantage of it.
Here comes the 54. He's within a half a car length now to the bumper of Allgaier for the lead. Ty Gibbs once again fighting back on the inside. He likes that inside line. Will it work for him to take the lead back away from Allgaier? Allgaier now with some traffic up in the line he's preferred. Side by side as they go down the backstretch. Allgaier a half a lane up. The 54 drifting up with him.
So this pass is going to be that much more difficult for Ty Gibbs. I think Ty has a better car again, but with this outside line working, how are you going to get by Allgaier? How are you going to make this happen?
Lap traffic coming into play. Joe Graff Jr., the next car in front of them.
Oh, right to the rear bumper trying to take the air off that car.
Caution has come out.
Back it up, back out.
The 77, we see the smoke rolling out behind Dylan Bassett. And Gregson all the way to the back of the 54. That was close as they were slowing down for the caution.
I'm going to tell you something, guys. We've had an incredible race. These guys have been going at it. Racetrack's changing. Now I think it's important, Steve. Where's the racetrack going to go? Is the top going to continue to be the way they go? Are you going to have to run the bottom on new tires? The driver and crew chief understanding where this racetrack is going to go as far as grip and what lane you're going to need is going to be vital to who makes the right changes.
Yeah, I mean, basically the sun has set, the lights are on, the ambient temperature is dropping. Add in the traction compound and the lane adjustment. This set of changes is going to be very important. The other thing is we're going to be probably under 40 laps to go when we take the green flag. So, you know, in theory, you would never set a car up to only run 40 laps. These cars are set up to run 60, 70, 75 laps. So do you bump the air pressure up a little bit? Do you leave a little bit of fuel out for better nose weight? You know, there's a lot of calculations that are going to go into these final adjustments. And then the pit crews. You don't have to gain, but you got to stay within touch, right? The championship 4 are 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to stay inside that top 4.
Steve, this is it. This is the money stop right here for these teams. They won't have to come back to pit road. There's less than 45 laps to go in this race. Now, it all comes down to a good pit stop, pit strategy, how you get in and off of the box, in and out of pit road.
And as a driver, this is where we start to see those speeding penalties, right? You're next to a guy leaving and you try to creep that RPM up just a little bit. Everyone, even pit crew members, you have to, this sounds crazy, but you have to kind of stay patient and nice and slow. That is how you have good pit stops. Clean pit stops come by not running at 100% crazy. You know, run at 95%. Make sure you see every move, every tire hang. The jack man, see both jack stops without any issue. You see Coach here, he's seen it all from the football field to the racetrack. He knows when the pressure's on.
And to me, watching Coach Gibbs, the first thing I always think about with pit crews is this is football's version of special teams. You got to kick the field goal right now. You got to make that field goal that everybody just assumes you're going to make, but it's difficult to do. And this is when those guys, they've been sitting around waiting for this moment. This is an opportunity to win a championship. Who can step up to the moment and make it happen?
See the crews getting ready. The biggest day of the year right now for these teams. The championship on the line.
See, he's got that wedge wrench attached to his helmet. He's going to go over pit wall and get that thing off and make an adjustment. Those pit crews have evolved everything.
Yeah.
We'll just make the wrench stick to your helmet so you can use it better.
Title on the line for the Xfinity Series, and guess what? Tomorrow, the NASCAR Championship weekend continues with the Cup Series, and they will crown a champion. That race coverage beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. Countdown to green at 1:30. Get everyone set up for what is on the line for the Cup Series. And Rutledge Wood, we have very few laps to go. 43 from here at Phoenix.
Yeah, Rick, and you can feel that stress on Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting those 3 cars up there in the top 4. He just looked at me, laughed, he changed his shades to his glasses, then he made that international sign for, my stomach doesn't feel good right now. So the nerves are high down here, guys. Going to be exciting to see what happens next, though.
I think everyone is feeling it. The 2 owners, they've got that look on their face.
I mean, if you're a football fan, who hasn't been so nervous when that kicker comes out, right? These owners have put together teams, drivers, crew chiefs, sponsors, and now it comes down to these pit crews. And let's not forget, this year, the Cup Series uses a single lug nut. The Xfinity Series is still on 5 lug nuts. This whole interaction between Saturdays and Sundays is completely changed. You know, this is now completely different than Sundays. So the pit crew's focus has been mostly on Sunday, right? What pit crew has committed to Saturdays? What pit crew, Marty, has said, you know what? We know a championship's going to be won on Saturday and put a little extra time in on this style of pit stop.
Joe Gibbs Racing, always known for their pit crews, but remember, on the last stop, Ty Gibbs' team lost him a spot. They cannot afford that right now. In fact, Ty came on the radio and said, hey boys, you got this. This is where it all counts. Can they answer, Steve? What are you saying as a crew chief to your guys, knowing they did not have a good stop last time?
Well, you just remind them of all the time they put in. All the 6 a.m. mornings in January and February, prepping for what's going to come in November, what you hope comes in November. There you see the crew for the 54 of Ty Gibbs. There's a lot of experience on that crew in different facets and in different positions. That's what you want to lean on, right, is the experience. I will say this. I've seen a lot of good pit crew guys at pit practice in a parking lot. It takes a different type of athlete to want the ball in this situation. Let's see which one steps up.
Pit road open, and the 7. 54, 9 and 8. Nose to tail as they come onto pit road. Dylan.
Josh Berry told his team, good rebound, boys. We're still in this. They finally got the back of the car settled down so he could drive it to 4th. Now he needs help with the front turn. They'll go back on their last adjustment, take 1 round out of the left rear, 4 tires and fuel, Parker.
For Justin Allgaier, he just needs that car to be tightened up on exit. You saw that how loose he was on the exit of the corners. He needs to be tightened up and to fire off a little bit earlier in the run. It'll be 4 tires for him. We'll keep an eye on that fuel to see what they do for weight, Dave.
Noah Gregson felt like he was burning up the right front. The adjustment for him has already been made. Air pressure in one of the 4 Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel to get to the end, Marty.
Handling-wise, toughest run of the day for Ty Gibbs. There you see that track bar adjustment. Said it was just too free, and the right rear wants to snap out on corner exit. Can the 54 team deliver? Yes, they can. The 54 gains 1 critical spot here on pit road, Rick.
And a very detrimental stop for the 9. Gregson 5 spots on pit road. He loses. Gibbs gains a spot. He comes off of pit road first.
That could be the final pit stop of the day, and it was a huge one for the 8 of Josh Berry. Gaining 1 spot on pit road puts him in the 3rd position. Josh was talking to me earlier this week about what preparation looked like for that 8 team, and he said it really didn't change anything chasing a championship.
You don't try harder when you get in this moment. That's where people show weakness, when they feel like they have to get here and they have to do more because you're here, right? You earned the opportunity to be here. The goal, like I said, you just got to try to put your best race together, right? So for me, my preparation has been the same that it's been all year. Myself and my team, it's allowed us the last couple of weeks, just our situation, to look a little further ahead, right? Put a little extra emphasis on Phoenix, right? Spend a little more time there, right? And watching the races back, watching, these championship races can be so unique that like I've watched the last few. I rewatched the Cup race last year, and just the situations and how it can all play out. Just to think about being prepared for anything that might come your way. But it's easy to overthink. I mean, it really is in this opportunity. But at the end of the day, this is just one race, and you just need to finish ahead of the other 3 guys. It doesn't matter where you start or who wins the stages or points or anything. It's just about being in the front.
I've learned a lot this week in catching up with each of these Championship 4 drivers, especially when it comes to their preparation. And it seems like the key for the 8 team is just not to overthink it. Working out for them here in these final laps.
Movement on both sides. It starts on the right rear, quick hands, and one lug nut doesn't come off. You're going to see he reaches in, grabs the wheel, no movement. That's because he has to go back and take a couple more lug nuts off. That happens, and then from the right to the left, don't carry over mistake. Another issue with not getting the car high enough. Left rear won't come off. Now the jack man has to hang it, so trouble on the gun and the pit stop on the left side, once again with the jacks. Big loser on this pit sequence, the 9 of Noah Gregson.
Come on, guys.
And now they'll choose inside to outside. The 54 outside once again, Allgaier inside.
Oh, listen, that choose by the 54 of Gibbs, in my opinion, he had no choice. You've got to pick the top. We've seen the top is better, but you do expose yourself. We've talked about it before. Allgaier now has going to be able to drive underneath Ty Gibbs. See Luke down here trying to pump everybody up.
Yeah, that's a great crew chief right there. The guys didn't have a good stop. He went down there, he talked to them. Said, guys, all right, let's see what we got here.
That is a great crew chief, but with 37 to go, I don't know that you're going to see that 9 car back on pit road again. So I don't know if they're going to be able to make up for it, Marty.
And remember, Ty Gibbs chose the outside last time. Chris Gale didn't love it, but Jeff, he said, this is your choice. He left the decision up to his 20-year-old driver. Ty Gibbs decided for the outside once again.
And that puts now Allgaier on the inside of Gibbs.
A little bit of smoke coming out.
Every time out of the pipes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of the 7 of Allgaier, that's something we've got to keep our eye on. Up through the gears they go again. 36 laps to go in Phoenix. A great run by Allgaier in the 7. But can he hold it? Way up the racetrack he goes, and here comes the 54 and Sheldon Creed in the 2.
Yeah, the 7 car of Allgaier kind of just shifted in there hoping for the best, but hope's not a strategy. Now, can he hold these cars off for second?
3 wide for second.
That was a risky move by Allgaier that I don't think he had to take. He's got to make this work right here. He cannot fall back to 4th.
Sheldon Creed and A.J. Allmendinger on his inside. Here comes Josh Berry in the 8. And around goes the 19. Brandon Jones sliding onto pit road.
No caution yet.
No caution yet. Now it does come out. There'll be another restart.
Yeah, I think there might have been contact with the 9 car of Noah. Noah running in 8th right here.
Still the 19, I didn't mean that.
There you have it.
Just crossing down.
See, here it is right here. See the 9 of Noah Gregson on the bottom of the racetrack. They check up in front, and then the 19 turns to try to take advantage of it and just contact. It's a great shot.
Still bottom of 3, 11 trying to roll top. Still bottom of 3. Keep coming here, still out there.
We heard Noah just getting back in the gas, and then the 19 had to let off because the 2 was coming back to him.
Feel bad for the 19 of Brandon Jones. That's his teammate for next year. His teammate, current teammate, wrecking last week, is, you know, this Noah and he aren't going to be teammates with that 9 car. He's actually going to be driving next year. He got spun out by the car he's getting ready to be in.
So they'll try it again. And yes, Junior shaking his head. That's L.W. Miller over there on the side of the pit box.
I'm going to tell you something. Our guy's got to rethink the strategy. Into turn 1, he shifted in there and got by with it. But he got lucky to get by with it. He made a lunge for life that he didn't need to make with 33 laps to go, in my opinion, on that last restart. And he put himself in jeopardy of falling all the way back to 4th or 5th. So now he's got to rethink. All right, what am I going to do? I just tried something that didn't work. So what is it that our guy can do? I'm certain that 54 Gibbs is going to pick the top again. It's worked for everybody on the top the last 3 or 4 restarts. Josh Berry did a really good job on that restart. What did he learn? What can he apply? That's what they're all processing right now.
And again, they were checking up in front of the 19. He has to slow down. The 9 gets into the back of him. Around goes the 19. Caution comes out. And that means another restart.
Well, guys, the temperature's dropping, but the heart rates are going up. We're at that time.
Yeah, tell you what, we better watch out for the non-championship contenders.
Yeah.
AJ Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed, Landon Castle, they're fast. They're going to be a part of this conversation.
Yeah, we got 3 of the 4 up there. I want to see Noah get in and be a part of this. What a great race we've had.
Oh, it's incredible.
Noah Gregson's fallen back to the 8th position, and that's where he will restart with 30 laps to go.
You see that 7 car, every time he accelerates to warm the tires up, you see a little bit of puff of smoke. We've seen that throughout the year with a few Xfinity teams under caution. I don't know if that's a concern or not. It may be oil just getting into part of the engine, Steve, and it burning it off right here. We've seen it a few times before, but gosh, that makes me nervous.
Yeah, we definitely got our attention under this yellow more than the past few yellows.
Look at that smoke continue to roll out on the right side, the exhaust of the 7. We'll keep our eye on that. 30 laps to go. Allgaier on the inside. Gibbs, race leader on the outside. Green flag back in the air.
That was a great launch by Allgaier.
They both went down the racetrack, not as aggressive for the 7 that time of Allgaier. And this time, way up the racetrack was the 8 of Josh Berry. And into the wall, he gets 2. Now the 54 tags the back of the 7 as they go into 3. Side by side for the lead.
Look who's coming to the pictures. This race is side by side. Allgaier's got to make this outside work right here.
Noah Gregson, he's coming up to 3rd. Ty Gibbs fighting on the inside, but Allgaier makes the pass on the outside.
What a comeback by Noah Gregson all the way to 3rd on that restart.
Gibbs rolling the center of 3 and 4, better than anyone. The 9 of Gregson up to 3rd, but Sheldon Creed is in the picture in that 2.
Noah overcooked the entry into turn 3, got it there too deep. Sheldon Creed tried to take advantage of it. Feel like Sheldon gave him a lot of respect right there.
You saw it. The 8 car not really in the picture anymore. He had that issue, got high, lost a bunch of positions. Here he is, 3, 4, 5 cars going by, and then off of turn 2, gets into the wall on the backstretch. Right there, hard contact.
Yeah, just trying a little bit too hard into the entry of 1. Side-by-side battle for the lead here.
Gibbs still peeking to the inside of the 7, but Allgaier using that middle line right now. And coming up on 26 laps to go.
This is where the 54 of Gibbs is better than everybody, right in the middle of 3 and 4.
Trying to get bottom.
Eddie DeHunt, the spotter, giving him the information of where Ty Gibbs is running. Now that lower line coming back to Ty Gibbs. Allgaier can't pull away as much as he was able to earlier in the race using the high line.
See, Allgaier right here, he's got to do a great job of getting to that yellow line. You do not want to give that 54 car clean air on the bottom of 3 and 4. That is where his advantage is. Allgaier's got to be extremely disciplined in running that corner.
Way up the racetrack once again. Allgaier using that high line. He's able to hold on to the lead.
So watch right here. Watch the 7 car of Allgaier. What is his mission? His mission is to get this car on the bottom. There you go. The spotter just said it. Don't let him get to the left rear. That's a perfect corner by the 7, the driver of that 7 Allgaier. But even still, the 54 Gibbs was able to beat him right there. If he ever leaves that yellow line, it's going to give clean air to that 54, and he's going to throttle up, and they're going to be side by side.
Now the middle line working for the 54 of Gibbs. He stays within a car length of the 7 as they get ready to enter 3.
And he's closer to him than he's ever been, so now he's taking air off the 7 car. Now he's going to drive underneath him.
Left for you.
That run off of turn 2 is what gave him that opportunity.
And he stays right on the door. The 2 fighting for a championship right here.
Still, this outside line is better in 1 and 2, so even with a great corner in 3 and 4, Ty Gibbs can't take advantage of it, but he's got to keep going back to that well. Do the same thing right here. No, he's not. He's going to the top.
Gibbs tries the high line, keeps the momentum up. Look at this move.
Oh,
will they cross him over?
It almost worked, Rick. He did not have enough rear grip under acceleration. He went to the throttle, the back of the car came around, and he wasn't able to take advantage of it. But he just learned something. He just learned how to make that work. Let's see if he takes advantage of it.
Always learning at 20 years old. Ty Gibbs running in the second spot.
Again, a good run. Now he's to the top. Don't go to the throttle quite as quick as you did before. Easy on the throttle. He's got a huge run right here.
Crossing over.
He goes to the high side. And now that line that Allgaier had been able to hold him off, Gibbs is going to try. Allgaier slides up the racetrack. Now the momentum in the 54's court.
He's got a side draft him big time down this back straightaway.
No, to you now.
Now to the high line for the 7. Noah Gregson coming into the picture, though. The 54 clears him. Allgaier trying to cross him over as they go down the front stretch and into turn 1. Allgaier takes the lead back, but up the track he goes. Here comes the 54 of Gibbs, and now a big run down the backstretch.
Allgaier tried to drive in the corner and give him just do a slide job, and it did not work. Now Noah's got to clear the 7 of Allgaier if he's got any chance whatsoever. He's got him cleared right here.
19 laps to go. Gregson up to that second spot.
Oh, Ty Gibbs back to the bottom.
I talked to the 9 of Noah Gregson before the race in countdown to green, and he was very clear. He would rather not have to rough up his teammates. He wanted to run a clean race, but there was one car he would make an exception for. He feels the ticket on the 54 was opened a week ago with the move he made on the 19. Noah has not let off from that conversation all week long, and now he has 18 laps to get to the rear bumper, and when he gets there, what will he do?
And let's see what kind of lap time Noah was able to make right there. He ran the top in 1 and 2, the 54 of Gibbs. He loves the bottom. Every single week we see him on that yellow line. If Noah can make that outside work, that's an advantage to Noah. That time by almost the same exact speed between the two cars.
Gibbs just a little bit faster at 33 to the 35 of Gregson. But the gap closing now. The momentum using that high line for Gregson. Allgaier still holding on to 3rd. Barry all the way back in 15th after his troubles coming off of turn 2.
So that time Noah went to the bottom of the racetrack. Running the top wasn't giving him what he needed. Trying something different. Going to run the top over here 1 and 2, Steve. That's where he wants to be. He likes it up here. But going to probably run the bottom again in 3 and 4 because running the top is not gaining an advantage.
No, and with coming up to 15 laps to go, there's a handful of lap cars, but no real clump of traffic. So the 54 is going to have to pick them off kind of one at a time. You hope to catch them in the right spots. If you're the 54, if you're the 9, you'd love to see him catch them in an awkward spot like corner exit.
And that time the 9 was a little bit quicker than the 54.
Follows him on the bottom of the racetrack. The gap, a half a second separating Gibbs and Gregson. A championship on the line coming up on 14 laps remaining in the season.
54 car in clean air, in my opinion, has just been the best car all day. They had one stretch where they weren't, but now with clean air, Noah's going to have to do some incredible work right here or catch him in lap traffic.
What a race. At least these 3 have put on the entire race. Out front the most laps has been Gibbs at 111, but Gregson has led 35. Allgaier has led 26, and they have traded the lead back and forth almost this entire race.
Noah now way up to the top. Ty's just been fast in a few laps, so Noah's last few laps, so Noah's got to start searching. He's got to make something happen now. Cannot let that 54 get any further ahead.
The gap 0.8 of a second. The 54 trying to pull away. Way up the racetrack once again was Gregson. But the gap not getting any smaller. Gibbs still with almost a second lead. Gregson, how hard does he have to push it these final 11 laps?
Noah's a little bit quicker that lap. The 54 car got loose on the under throttle. Leaving turn 4.
A fight for a championship, and it's their final run in the Xfinity Series. Gibbs will be moving up to the Cup Series, as will Noah Gregson. Those two, the top two.
Seeing the back of the 54 car start to move around quite a bit on the exit of 4. Noah's cut this lead. Couple of tenths that lap. Watch this 54 car. He loves running the bottom. Watch as he exits turn 4. Let's see if he gets loose again. See, he never got to the bottom right there. He's missing his line. The car's starting to get away from him at 3 and 4.
Well, in crazy 2022, a record 8 races have been decided on the last lap. The last 2 championship races here in the Xfinity Series have seen a last lap pass. With 9 to go, will we see it again?
A year ago, we saw Daniel Hemrick put the bumper to the back of Austin Cindric with about 200 feet to go before the finish line, and it got Daniel Hemrick his first win as well as the championship. Now the gap closed to 3 car lengths.
That lap car did not help Noah right there. He had to pinch his car off a little bit on the exit.
Can Gregson catch him? We know what he's willing to do if he does.
54 car's gotten loose on corner exit. It is clear. Now Ty is in a place he hasn't been this entire run. Caught the lap car and went to the top.
We'll see if he can clear him. He does before they get to 1. Gregson stays up high through 1 and 2.
Watching the momentum of the 9 car down this back straightaway. See that run that he gets? The 54 can't accelerate like the 9 can.
Harder into 3. Gregson closing the gap. Coming up on 6 laps to go.
There you see the advantage. Noah's got to get close to him. If he can whittle that lead away and get to that rear bumper, he's got a chance to make the 54 loose. And I don't even mean by touching him, just by taking the air off that spoiler.
I don't think he'll wait that long. I think if he can get to that 54's bumper, it's going to be one shot. One big move for the 9 car.
Back 5 to go.
The laps are winding down now. 5 to go. Gregson shortening the distance on the apron.
Noah caught that lap car right at the exact wrong place. He wasn't able to enter the corner the way he wanted to, so that messes up the exit as well. He just had to pinch the car off on entry, and to see the gap it created. Only 1 or 2 car lengths, Rick, but with only a few laps left, any little bit of hindrance hurts you.
Gregson sliding up the racetrack, giving everything he can to try to get to the bumper on the 54. Gibbs holding tight to the bottom of the racetrack. Gregson followed him down there. The gap still a half a second. Gregson's been stronger into turn 3, but he needs to hang on to this track position that he's gaining. 3 laps to go.
A big lap for the 9, though. Over a 1/10 of a second gain and a little bit of traffic in front of the 54.
And this time Noah was able to enter the top the way he wanted to. And look at the 54, how low he is on corner exit and how it hurt the exit speed.
He's caught the lap traffic. He dives down low. And now 2 car lengths separate them.
He missed the bottom right there. Also, Ty Gibbs did not have a clean lap in 3 and 4. That has helped the 9 car.
Sam Mayer in front. And Sam goes way up the racetrack, trying to stay out of the way of this championship battle. Sam fighting back on the outside now, not giving Ty Gibbs that line. And here comes Gregson. through 3 and 4. It is 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. What will Gregson do if he's able to get to him? Can Gibbs stay in front? The lap traffic once again coming into play. Gibbs clean off of turn 2, down the backstretch for the final time. Gregson throws it into turn 3. Can he get there? He's not going to. Ty Gibbs is going to win the race and the championship.
Great job, buddy. Great job. Remember, humble, brother. So proud of you. So proud.
You guys are the man. Thank you. Thank you for everybody.
At just 20 years old, that young phenom continues to impress, and today adds an Xfinity Series championship.
Still to be a champion. Man, I just want to thank you for all.
That sounded like series director there coming on the radio. Wayne Ott. And the crowd and crew celebrating. We'll see what the crowd does when Ty gets out of the car. Gregson gave it his all. You see him pulling the helmet off now and climbing out of the car. Dylan, I believe you caught up with a very happy crew chief.
And they are in the middle of their traditional post-race prayer that the coach and everybody leads on this Joe Gibbs Racing team. Chris Gale, let's grab you here real quick. Man, how proud of you of this kid. In a week where there was so much turmoil and distraction, he blocked all that out, and now he's a champion.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how tough you got to be, how resilient you have to be after going through that last week, right? The hardest thing for him was going to be all the stuff leading up to it, man. When you got between these two walls on the racetrack, that's where he shined today, man. So proud of, you know, there were 3 or 4 moments there where he could have panicked, could have got himself in trouble, could have got somebody else in trouble, and man, he did such a marvelous job all day.
Congratulations. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Chris Gale and Ty Gibbs, Xfinity Series champions.
Chris Gale knows success. There you see Noah Gregson out of the car, looking exhausted and disappointed. We talked to him earlier this week. Gregson talked about how important it would be to win a championship. He was very emotional, taking everything in. And I think Ty Gibbs was unsure of what emotions he should show. You heard on the radio after he won, stay humble.
Well, Rick, with all of the pressure from the week and all of the public, his own team, the competitors questioning his move, he steps up, sits on the pole, wins every stage, and wins the race. And say what you want about the young man and how he races, you may or may not like it. You have to be impressed with his ability to put all that behind him in this huge moment and go dominate and win this race.
Yeah, on Thursday in the media center, he said a lot of the right things. The questions were his actions back them up? And on the biggest stage of his career, I didn't see him touch anyone. Clean racing, when it would have been the easiest to make a move. So his actions backed up what he said, and now he gets this triumphant stand on his car.
Cheers and boos mixture. And you see the excitement in the young man. He has won the race, his 7th of this year, and a championship. Marty?
Well, Rick, I'll say before the race, it was a lot of boos from the crowd, but that was a mixture. Some cheers there for Ty Gibbs, the 2022 Xfinity Series champion. Ty, how did you put all the chatter and all the criticism behind you this week and deliver the title today?
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say thank you to my team. Every one of these guys, my pit crew, they did an awesome job. They put us here. Great job to my team. You know, what I did last week was unacceptable. And, you know, I apologize once again, but it was unacceptable because we could have had 2 shots to win this deal. And it was stupid from an organization standpoint, so all my fault. And you know, I can sit here and tell you I'm sorry as much as I can, but that's not going to fix it. I got to fix my actions, and I feel like today I had a good race. I feel like it made some good moves. Me and the 7 were racing really hard. I feel like hopefully we put on a great show for you guys fans, and thank you for all what you guys do.
I want to get your reaction to that. This is 33 races, 10 months of work, all going into this one moment, and you get out as a champion, and it's very mixed reaction from the fans. How do you react to that?
Yeah, well, I don't want to be the one with the booze, and I'm the one that put myself in that position, but whatever. I don't want this championship to be remembered for booze. I want to be remembered for hard work on our team. Awesome job. Let's go, Monster Energy, David Gallen, Mitch Covington. Thank you guys so much. Norm from Raceway Batteries, Xfinity. My car was as fast as 6 in the internet. I think that's what I'm supposed to say. I don't know. Thank you to the fans. Even though I don't have that many of them, hopefully I earned some respect back. And we'll move on. Thank you, guys.
A little cheers there. So I want to ask you your thoughts when you saw the 9 behind you after all the chatter that if he got to you all week long, he said he was going to wreck you. Were you worried that would happen?
Not at all. I focused at the windshield. I feel like we had a great race with those guys. So great job at Junior Motorsports, but you know, the 25% won. Awesome job. Thank you for everybody. Thank you all the guys. Had an awesome time racing Xfinity Series this year. You know, looking for more, and I'm very excited. Thank you for everybody. We're champions. We're champions.
Ty Gibbs took the dominant car. Dave Burns, he wins it. He's the 2022 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion.
So while Ty Gibbs celebrates, Noah Gregson talking to everyone who's a big part of his life. Dale Jr. down here, Johnny Morris and the Morris family stepping in, and such a big part of what's happened here for so many years. And Noah, doggone it, looked like the car was fast at times. What was the difference?
You know, just execution on pit stops. We just need to be better as a Bass Pro Shop team all around, but still proud of everyone's efforts. Thought we had a really good car there in the second half. Restarted 8 on that last restart, and got up to second, just not enough, just too tight there at the end. But still super proud of everybody. This guy right here.
Buddy, we're proud of you, I'll tell you that.
Johnny Morris.
Heck of a year. Heck of a year.
This guy.
Let's go
Johnny
fishing.
Morris and JP. Yeah, make sure you get out fishing, hunting. Make sure you get your timber camouflage and get all your fishing and hunting needs at Bass Pro Shops, and then Black Rifle Coffee as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Just thanks all the fans. You guys are so badass. Just didn't have enough for him at the end, but it wasn't a lack of trying. I was going to drive in if I was any closer and get that POS, but definitely sucks to lose to someone like that, but it's not from lack of effort. This Bass Pro Shop team was really good all year, 8 wins, you know, led the most laps, most top 5s, just come up one race short, but just so thankful for everybody at Junior Motorsports, and fuck, that sucks.
Reviewing some numbers there. It's been 4 years with this group, and we talked about family, how big a family they are to you. We obviously saw how much Johnny means to you and everybody else. What will you remember, and does it just grind on you that you could not deliver it for them?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a team effort. We win as lose as a team, so you know, still proud of everyone's efforts all year. We've been in position to win a lot of races and have executed them out. Just come up one spot short, but you know, definitely bittersweet. Moving on to the Cup Series next year with Petty GMS. Big thanks to them for putting me in the 42 car next year for them. But damn, I'm gonna miss this Junior Motorsports team. Dale Kelly, LW. All the employees at Junior Motorsports, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Mr. Hendrick, the Hendrick Engine Shop, thank you for all the hard work. But most importantly, the fans. It's been unbelievable this year to see the support and the love by everybody involved that comes down to the fence when we're climbing the fence, having our t-shirts on, the cheers, the driver intros. It just means so much, not only to me, but this team. I know everyone's pissed, but you know, still unbelievable year.
Noah, how developmental was this? Because you're going to Cup Series racing next year. How important were these 4 years?
Well, I think you know, I grew a ton, not only as a race car driver, but as a person. Matured on and off the track, and I believe I'm ready for Cup. You know, just opportunities like that when we lose spots on pit road and restart 8th and get back up to the front and just regroup, refocus. What's done is done. You got to be able to go up against those Cup guys, you got to be able to regroup and refocus, you know, when you run into adversity and challenges. But, you know, just got to keep working hard. That's all there is to it.
Noah Gregson does not win the championship today. A valid effort from him. I'm going to have my cameraman Stoley just pivot over here just a little bit. We're going to find Dale Jr. in the crowd over here. Junior, watch you pacing all day. What are the emotions now that it's over?
Well, you know, it's really disappointing. We got beat. Ty Gibbs and Joe, they got an amazing program, and Ty's a talent, and they did everything right today, and we raced them hard, and they raced us hard, and it was a good, clean battle. So it's a blessing to have a shot at it, to be honest with you. You're going to have chances when you're going to win championships if you show up enough, and I'm blessed that we're competitive. Certainly have to retool and try to come back and be better, and that's what we'll work on in the off season. We'll get all the group together and build the morale back up and retool and come back strong.
Quite a program that Dale and Kelly, LW, and the whole crew have put together there at JRM. 3 drivers in the championship for today. Rick?
Yeah, 75% of the championship 4 were Junior Motorsports drivers, but you heard him say the 25% was able to get it today. It was Ty Gibbs. You guys mentioned it, a very clean race. He was the dominant car, 125 laps led for the 20-year-old, and he's celebrating. He mentioned the fans, which he doesn't have a lot of, he'd like to win them back. Well, he won the race, he won the championship, and now he's going to try to win the fans back as well. More drivers on the other side of the break. The sun has set on the Xfinity Series season, and Joe Gibbs Racing will begin their celebration for the offseason, celebrating Ty Gibbs and an Xfinity Series championship. What a run they had today. And coming up just a little bit short, finishing in 3rd, was Justin Allgaier, and standing by with him is Parker.
Right, Rick, getting the congratulations and high five here from Noah Gregson, his teammate. Finished 2nd, chatting it over. But Justin, you got to the lead. It looked like you were trying to hold off the 54. Is there anything different you could have done to keep the lead?
Honestly, at the end of the race there, we had some issues going on. Not so sure that the engine's not blowing up. We didn't have any gauges all night, and it definitely was a struggle at the end to hold on. And we just got a little bit too loose, you know. But nothing to hang our heads over. I mean, obviously we're dejected. Not one of our Junior Motorsports cars went to victory lane or got the championship. So hats off to Ty, but I know the men and women from Junior Motorsports that were watching tonight, it's going to make them even hungrier to go back to work on Monday and try to make this program better. Just proud of our team, proud of the effort. We wanted it. I was just asking you off camera if the race was good, because
it was.
Yeah, from my standpoint, I mean, you can't give any more. I gave these guys 110%, and I was actually yelling in the car just because I was so frustrated at the end there, not being able to catch them, and my voice is gone, but just proud of the effort all year. I mean, you know, you come to Daytona in the beginning of the year to make a shot at the Final Four, and we did that, and nothing to hang our heads over. We're going to go back to work, and we'll come back next year even stronger and try to do it all over again.
You've been so close before. I know this one maybe felt like the one this time. So how do you rebuild into the offseason and for next year being this close, now your 5th time?
You just learn new ways to lose, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what we could have done different tonight. You know, the team executed on pit road. Jason Burnett and the guys did a great job of making good calls on the car. Eddie DeHaan did a fantastic job spotting the race. It just needed to go our way, and you know, it wasn't for lack of effort, like I said, and it just, these races, you know, especially with the sun going down, I was really surprised how much the track changed. I told you I probably should have waited a little bit on making the top work, but once I figured...
You want to hold in your back pocket for a little bit.
Maybe a little longer, but I ran about 20 laps with not using it. Then I thought, man, we just got to go for it. But hats off to everybody at Chevrolet, Hendrick Engine Department, everybody on our race team. I love this racetrack at Phoenix Raceway. I wish we could race here more often because it's just such a fun place, and proud of our team. We'll go on to next year and have some fun. I get to race you next year, so
yes, we do.
Fun.
I'll see you there. So Dylan, well, Justin Allgaier and this 7 team obviously put their best effort. Just a little short, Dylan.
And the same story for Josh Berry and the number 8 team. Ultimately not the finish they wanted today. You guys got the car better, worked on it all day, but then at the end, what happened there?
Yeah, it just was a long day, just a tough day. We just unloaded, or just really all weekend, we've just been fighting it a little bit, just super, super loose at the start, worked on it, and got better, got some track position. I mean, just a couple restarts went our way. We were able to get up there. But, yeah, the last restart, I don't know. It's so hard to tell with that traction compound. Sometimes you go up there and you look like a hero, and sometimes you look like a zero. And that was, like I said, I went up there and it just wasn't cleaned off and got loose and got up too high and lost all the spots. But, I don't know, just a tough day. I hate I made that mistake, but, you know, we were behind all day just trying to get into the battle, and just wasn't our day. So just appreciate everybody at Tire Pros and Junior Motorsports, our partners that helped make this happen. Just definitely an honor to be in the championship 4 in my first full season. Going to work hard over the off season to be better, and you know, maybe we can be back here next year.
Yeah, nothing to hang their head about for sure. Not the finish they wanted, but Josh Berry definitely going to be back and tougher than ever next year.
Yeah, Josh Berry 3 wins on the season, and as he mentioned, just his first full-time season with Junior Motorsports. Pretty classy move here for Noah Gregson, going and congratulating the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers and team.